Hello travelers and welcome back. Today we are going to go over some really cool tips and tricks. I call them hacks, but they're not really hacks. They're just putting things together in a particular way. But more importantly, everything I'm going to show you in this video is 100% switch friendly. So get ready to enhance your plot's decor with the following tricks and tutorials on how to do them. First, you're going to need the following items: 2 builder's walls, 1 builder's floor, 1 builder's pillar, 1 gourmet dessert bowl, and any shelf that can rotate, though I recommend the industrial wall shelf. Now, depending on which tricks you decide to use, you will need more items, but these are the base for pretty much every trick I'm about to show you. A little side note, builders' recipes can be purchased at City Hall, and you must buy all the recipes you need as you do not unlock more through inspiration at the crafting table like in most other situations. Gourmet recipes can be purchased at Reth's Till at the Ormu Inn. The base structure you'll need to build goes as follows: builder's wall, a shelf, builder's wall on the shelf, and builder's floor attached to the second builder's wall. This is what I'll be referring to whenever I say base structure in this video. The first trick I'm going to show you is laying books flat on a table, shelf, chair, or basically any item that can have decor placed on it. This trick is all over YouTube, but my community has requested that I walk them through it in my own words. First, place the table or item you wish to have the book located on the builder's floor. Second, place a gourmet dessert bowl on the table or item, whatever you chose. Now select the shelf and rotate the structure entirely. You'll now be able to place the book on the gourmet dessert bowl, but from a sideways perspective. This may take a minute to get right, but have patience. Once you've placed the book on the dessert bowl, you can now remove the dessert bowl. It won't affect the book, so don't worry. Now just pick up your table or whatever item you used and place it wherever you wish. As a side note, you can rotate the shelf at different angles to create a less perfectly placed book, as shown here, so just play around with it. There are also ways to stack multiple books on top of each other. However, none of those methods are switch friendly, so I won't be showing them in this video. Next, we'll place flowers horizontally. Now, sadly, I haven't been able to get this to work on anything other than the builder's items, such as floors and blocks, but it can still make for a very neat addition to a kitchen or foraging area. Start with your base structure once more. But in this case, you'll want the builder's floor that's attached to the second wall to be the floor you want the flowers on, so choose wood or stone accordingly. Once you've selected the floor type you want, simply rotate the shelf on the main wall. Then place the flowers you want to use on the rotated floor. Once you've placed the flowers, you can now move the floor wherever you like and the flowers will stay in place. I personally used this to create an herb cutting station in my kitchen, but with some imagination, I'm sure you can do a lot more with it. Now, flowers inside blocks is something I love to use to create overgrown walkways and bridges. It's also helpful for those archways you may have seen all over YouTube, and I'll feature in a later video. But for now, a link to my friend Emma's video will be in the description. Starting with your main structure, place the builder's block of your choice on the floor piece. Then rotate the shelf. You can now place flowers on the block's top, which happens to make the flowers appear on their side once you remove the block from the floor piece. I love using this to create overgrown ruins, pathways, and so much more. Now, similar to how flowers work when horizontal, you can also place builder's blocks basically inside builder's floor pieces by rotating the shelf on the main structure and then placing a block on the floor. You'll notice it sits inside the floor, which creates a sunken effect for the block when the floor is removed from the wall. I used this to create stairs, additional effects for ruins, and I'm sure you can come up with even more wondrous things. Next, I'll show you flowers on pillars. This is actually quite simple, and you really only need a shelf on a wall to create this effect. Place a pillar of your choice on the shelf. Place the flower of your choice on the top of the pillar. Now rotate the shelf, which will also rotate the pillar. Select the flower, and then place it anywhere on the top of the pillar, but the flower is now in an upright state. You can now move the pillar wherever you wish. You can repeat the step to create a flower emerging from each side of the pillar as well. Just make sure to rotate the pillar when it's on the shelf, so the currently flowerless side is facing upwards when rotated. You can do this without first placing the flower on the top of the pillar, but it will cause much more difficulty with placement. So to ease your frustrations in the long run, I would not skip that step. I've used this trick to create interesting entranceways as well as place the pillar on the outside of my home to allow the flowers to visually be seen from the inside, creating a flower wall of sorts. Last but not least is flower trees. This trick starts by using the last method of putting flowers on pillars. So create a couple pillars with the flowers you want to use first, and then stack the two pillars on top of each other. Or you can just use one if you wish, it all depends on the desired outcome. Next, you'll need 4 tree seeds. These do not all have to be the same type of tree, but I do recommend keeping them the same. And to plant them around the base of your pillar. Water them until they are at the first stage of growth. Once the trees are in their smallest stage, you'll want to move them as close to the base of the pillar as possible. Funny enough, the trees themselves in the smallest stage can be placed closer to the pillar than when they're in their seed form. It's also important to note that you cannot move the trees after they grow out of the tiniest stage. So make sure you place this entire structure where you want it, or you'll have to grow new trees to start over in a new spot. Once you've got the baby trees fully surrounding your flower pillars, you simply water them each day until they are fully grown. Like magic, you'll have yourself a flower, or in my case, mushroom, covered tree. Now, yes, PC players can easily overlap items and work with this idea in their own ways, but my goal was to create a video full of whimsical ideas that Switch players could finally feel included in. So please like the video if you found it helpful. I really hope these ideas inspire you in your builds, and I can't wait to see what you create. Don't forget to subscribe if you feel like it. But most importantly, have a very magical day.